inside of what is affectionately known as the Juice Box here in Greenfield, Indiana, of course more officially known Dillon Automotive Gymnasium. Welcome here inside of Greenfield Central High School as we get set for the Hoosier Heritage Conference season opener here today for both of these teams as the New Palestine Dragons get set to take on the Cougars of Greenfield Central. Today's game is brought to you in part by Smokin' Barrel Barbecue. They're not new to the game, but their restaurant inside of Camp Sertoma certainly is. Stop by and check out them at 2316 South German Church Road, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, or online at smokin'-barrel-bbq.com. And stay tuned later in the game for tonight's Smokin' Player of the Game, presented by Smokin' Barrel Barbecue. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. As Jim, we have two teams who know each other very, very well. A heck of a matchup to kick off the conference slate here tonight.
Well, it really is a big matchup. Both of these ball clubs are 3-0 coming in. Neither one of them has played a conference game yet. But yes, these are intercounty rivals. They're all obviously conference rivals, and they are sectional rivals. They used to play each other 3 times a year, once in the regular season, once in the county tournament, and almost always in the sectional. That did away with the county tournament a few years ago, so now it's more of a 1 or 2 game per year.
But either way, the juice, to say the least, is certainly here for both of these squads, as both of these teams coming into tonight's contest 3-0 on the year. Greenfield Central having scored at least 60 points in each of their first 3 games this season, coming off of a big win over Beech Grove to start the year, followed by Northeastern and then Decatur Central, then New Palestine also 3-0 on the year coming into tonight. But of course, part of that success for Greenfield Central here, Jim, has been Dylan Moles, a sensational player at junior guard here for Greenfield Central.
Well, he's obviously the guy that Coach Luke Meredith and his staff are looking to carry them tonight. New Palestine has a guy of their own. This should be a fantastic football game.
And you take a look at Ian Stevens as well for New Palestine. He is a heck of a ball player, having it now 10 double-doubles in his career. He is certainly one to look out for scoring as well as rebounding the basketball.
Yes, again, he's their big player. And both of these guys, both Stevens and Moles, have complementary players. You know, in Braylon Mullins for Greenfield Central, he'll be that second leading scorer for Greenfield, and Blaine Nunley will be the guy for New Palestine. That will, again, this should be a whale of a basketball game. Place holds about 4,600, got to be about 3,500 in there.
And you add some atmosphere as well as they get going with the starting lineups here for tonight's contest. Turning out the lights, turning on the spotlights here as the Cougars get introduced. Of course, you have Dylan Moles, the lead guy who really is probably the big leading scorer, but you also have a really big young guy in Braylon Mullins. He is only a sophomore, but as a freshman last year, one of the leading scorers, already has interest from IUPUI and many other different D1 schools as well. He's averaging 16 points a contest through these first 3 games.
And if you're an IUPUI fan and that Mullins name sounds familiar, it's because his father, Josh Mullins, played here at Greenfield, had a great career at IUPUI, so not surprised that the Jaguars are looking at the younger one.
New Palestine coming into tonight's contest under the tutelage of Trent Whitaker. He is 96-81 in his 8th season as the head coach of New Palestine. Of course, he is only 4 wins away from reaching that coveted 100-win mark in his career at New Palestine. Meanwhile, Greenfield Central, they are under the tutelage of Luke Meredith, who is now in his 4th year as the head coach of GC. He is 44-33 in his time here at Greenfield Central. Of course, in his short time here at Jim, Luke Meredith, he's really just focused on really building up the culture. One of his key mantras is these 3 pillars: juice, energy, and effort. Affectionately, this place called the Juice Box, really starting to take hold as his culture here at GC.
Yeah, that's, again, most successful programs have a rallying cry, a mantra, something that they can kind of rally on, something that they can say quickly in the heat of the battle. I don't got time to explain it to you. Oh, I can say one thing: bring the juice. Everyone knows what that means. We get refocused, we go.
So here we go, getting set for the Hoosier Heritage Conference opener here inside of Dillon Automotive Gymnasium here on 9-Star TV. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Friday night basketball here in the state of Indiana. 2 4A foes getting set to go at it right here, right now. Braylon Mullins goes up against Stevens for the opening tip, and it is controlled here by Greenfield Central. And right out of the gate, you're going to be seeing a lot of different movements here for Greenfield, trying to negate the presence of Ian Stevens down low. Again, averaging 19 points a contest is he, but also 8 rebounds.
New Palestine opening up an man-to-man defense here. We'll see what they do defensively, whether they change mid-possession or just every other possession, or if they stay man-to-man.
And already we have a foul here to get things going. Going to be against New Palestine. And you already get Ian Stevens picking up, actually that's going to be Julius Gizzy picking up his first foul of the ball game. Of course, Jim Gizzy, a big name in the New Palestine community. You had Max Gizzy playing now at Marian University, who is a solid football and basketball player at New Palestine. But also, his mom is the head coach of the girls team here at New Palestine.
Yeah, and Sarah and sister Isabella is also a heck of a player for the ladies team as well.
3 ball on the way there from Mullins. Doesn't quite get that one to fall in quick. Come the Dragons here in transition.
Roudabush with the rebound. He had a big game last year, came off the bench with 8 points. And in a 4-point ball game, when you have a reserve get 8, that can be a huge difference in a close ball game.
And here is Blaine Nunnally. He had a season-high 23 points against Eastern Hancock earlier this season, but the first possession here for New Pal comes up empty. It's a turnover.
Yeah, I think Nunnally thought that Roudabush was going to zig when he zagged there and just kind of threw the ball out of bounds. New Pal back to man-to-man. Lots of movement, lots of screens.
And here is Dylan Moles getting his hands on the ball for the first time tonight. And a spin-around jumper doesn't fall, but a big rebound there by DeJarnett. But it comes away here with Nunnally screaming down the court, and he'll lay it in for the first 2 points of the ball game.
Well, DeJarnett gets the big offensive rebound, but he also gets the turnover, unfortunately, for Greenfield. And it results in a bucket the other way, a little pressure in the backcourt there.
Pretty good turnout here inside of this juice box, as it's affectionately known here in Greenfield. Again, about 4,620 capacity here. We're pretty close to that. So here's Dylan Moles, and he'll leave it off this time for Braden Robertson, who is a sizable presence down low going up against Ian Roudabush. Here's Kirchhoff inside and puts it off the glass.
Nice job of just driving the lane and finishing at the rim. And I like that he used the glass. So many kids today will not use the backboard. Obviously, Kirchhoff is not opposed to it.
Zone defense again here from Greenfield Central. Roudabush in the corner. And a long pass to the other side here to Bryant Nunnally, 2 of the Nunnally brothers here on this New Pal roster. Up top, Nunnally wants to unload, and good defense there by Mullins, the sophomore, as he feeds it inside there to Stagley, and he can't finish.
Braden Robinson with the rebound.
And quick up court comes Moles, and he turns it over again. Nunnally with a little bit of help, a thread-the-needle pass inside to Stevens.
Well, it's one thing to get turnovers. It's another thing to convert them on the other end, and so far New Palestine has converted twice on turnovers for all 4 of their points. Turnovers have a tendency to lead to baskets. They just lead to fast breaks.
Here's Kirchhoff with it. Averaging 12.5 points a contest is he, as the senior. He tries to go down the left side of the key, and he forces another turnover, and pushing it up the court again to Stevens, who has the flush. And Ian Stevens making his presence known early here with 4 early points. Unloading a 3 from deep the other way is Dylan Moles.
Well, that's one way to prevent a turnover, is just don't pass it. Just shoot the ball.
And a timeout going to be called here by Greenfield Central as they try to push the pace here. And now they'll try and slow things up here just a little bit. So it's been back and forth we go. Both teams have led. And here was a heck of a play here to even Ian Stevens off of that pass ahead there from Stagley.
Well, he's got tremendous leaping ability there and just a great vertical jump. And he's gotten so much stronger this year from last year, worked hard over the summer like all these kids do. At this level, just about everybody plays some semblance of travel ball. They're in the gym, they're shooting, they're lifting. Stevens has gotten a much better. You see Coach Trent Whitaker.
Yeah, 96 and 81. 4 wins away from 100 wins here at New Pal. And Jim, you mentioned travel ball. 3 of the New Pal players play on the same AAU team. Moses Haynes, who we have yet to see tonight, but also Julius Gizzi and Ben Stagley all play for Julius's dad for D1 Indiana.
Yeah, there was a time, obviously, when these rivalries were real, when you really, truly hated the other kids and the other team, but now they all play together in the summer regardless of sport. It's baseball, it's basketball, it's volleyball, it's everything. These kids today oftentimes are friends, and it's a little bit more of a friendly rivalry.
Inside, nice triangle offense, and Stagley gets on the board for the first time. And so New Pal has had a slim lead here over the last couple of minutes or so as both teams try to feel each other out here in this early first quarter.
Yeah, Ben Slagley's one of those guys. He's kind of a physical player, and he's going to get a lot of boards for you. Not going to get a ton of offense, but clearly when he shoots from 2 or 3 feet away, he's pretty deadly.
And there's an offensive foul going to be called against Dylan Moles. Pretty cut and dry right there, Jim. He was set, and the shoulder goes right into his chest.
Yeah, there may have been a little bit of acting. You know, all kids are kind of coached to, when you feel that contact, to really sell it. But clearly he pushed off. There's no doubt about that.
So that'll be Moles' first foul of the ball game, and another turnover goes back here to New Pal. So turnovers have certainly played GC here in the early going.
It'll be interesting to see if New Pal could convert on the turnover. They have the last couple.
In the corner, Raudebusch tries to thread the needle inside to Stagley. He can't get that to go. Here's Mullins going right down the middle of the lane, coast to coast.
So Greenfield plays their game.
Back the other way, Stevens tries to do the same thing, and he gets pushed hard to the ground there by Robertson.
Yeah, they're going to say it's a block. I didn't see who got it, but somebody got just enough basketball here. Perhaps we'll see it right here.
And so it's a block out of bounds. It looked awfully close there. They'll say New Pal basketball.
Yeah, it was Braden Robertson with the block shot. New Pal going to slow it down here a little bit.
And here you have Stevens, again a 6'6 senior who plays like a stretch 4 for this team. He kicks it back out. 3 on the way from Stevens, just a little too strong. Here comes Moles. He unloads contested again from deep. Second 3 ball of the night for Dylan Moles.
Well, again, one of the ways you can eliminate turnovers is just don't pass the basketball. Get a good look at it, shoot it, fill it up.
Moles now 2 for 2 from the chair, from behind the arc here tonight as we approach the 2-minute mark of this first quarter. Stagley up top, into the corner, Raudebusch. Inside, Stagley working contested to the glass. Nothing doing there. Another big rebound over the back by Mullins. And here comes Moles again. And they're going to say it's a foul as he was pushed out of bounds before he got the pass off.
See who the foul is called on here.
It's going to be against Blaine Nunnally. That'll be his first. And that'll be the second here on New Pal here in the early going. So here's Moses Haynes into the ball game for the first time tonight. Again, another one of the 3 D1 Indiana players in AAU ball here on this New Pal squad.
And I really like this kid. If you're Greenfield, you better guard him because he can fill it up if you don't.
Moles misses his first shot of the ball game, but a big rebound there and an offensive put back there by Robertson.
Well, Robertson making his presence felt already. 2 rebounds and a block shot and a rebound bucket.
That extends it to 4 here for GC. Nunnally working it back and forth between Haynes and his brother. Splits the defenders. Nunnally gets inside. Nice move in there. What an athlete, Blaine Nunnally.
Oh, he's a great football player for the Dragon football team. He's also a pitcher, shortstop, and leader of the baseball team. Just a great athlete.
In other words, there's nothing that Blaine Nunnally can't do, basically.
Yeah, he'd probably beat you with a golf club and a tennis racket, too. You just don't want to.
Here's Kirchhoff. Goes down the left side of the lane. Has to dump it back off. Moles again with a hand in his chest as we tick inside of a minute. Moles puts the brakes on, back to Robertson. Here's the sophomore Mullins, spin move and nice dish inside. Can't quite get that to fall as Nunnally comes away with the rebound. And again Nunnally can't finish at point blank range. Moles outside, Robertson wide open for three, and he's short.
Yeah, probably not his shot necessarily. He's more of an inside player, but he got it. He was open, and I'm sure his coaches told him, look, if you get that good of a look, fire it up there. I mean, you can hit him. That's not necessarily what we're going to set the offense up to do, but if you're open, shoot it.
Final 10 seconds. Nunnally pressured in the corner, and he blitz up a low air ball three, and the subsequent full court shot does not go for Tyler Kirchhoff. After quarter number one, it's a tight one. GC on top of New Pal here on 9 Star TV.
We are really heavily involved in the community, so there are multiple different volunteer opportunities that we can go and do.
Volunteer time to share their time and talents with organizations that need not only monetary assistance, but just people's time to help those organizations grow and thrive.
9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Santa's in the house here in Greenfield Central, and so far he seems to be happy that the Cougars are on top of New Palestine here on 9 Star TV. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. Jim, both teams seem to be pushing the pace here in the first quarter and now going into the second.
Yeah, it seems like whenever New Palestine gets a rebound, they're going to definitely push the basketball off a made shot. They come back down. Greenfield's got their zone set up. They're a little bit more patient. But nice pace here right now. We're kind of on that 50 points a piece, give or take, route that we're on here. So we'll see if things change in the second quarter. It's amazing how coaches in Indiana are just so good at disrupting the tempo and just changing things up by just how they defend. So we'll see if Greenfield stays in their zone or goes to more of a man-to-man.
There you see Luke Meredith, head coach of Greenfield Central, in his fourth year at the helm of the Cougars. And the opening possession of this second quarter here for New Pal goes out of bounds. It'll stay here with the Dragons. Of course,
Haynes tried the no-look pass there, and it just got Greenfield got a hand on it.
Of course, Luke Meredith, head coach of GC, was a varsity assistant at Ben Davis and Avon before coming here to Greenfield. There's Stevens on the second effort.
Yeah, Luke Meredith's done a fantastic job here. Prior to Luke being here, honestly, Greenfield was really just not competitive. They certainly are more than competitive now.
Dylan Moles leaves it now for Jacob Hinton, who's into the ball game for the first time tonight for GC.
Looks like New Pal's extended the defense out a little bit. They got burned by a couple threes right at the arc, so they're going to say, you know what, we're going to back you up a little bit further, see if you can hit them from 3 or 4 feet behind.
Well, Mullins is going to unload anyway, and they can still hit. That's Mullins' first three ball of the night. He has 5 points.
Really nice shot. That shot was contested late, but still contested nonetheless, and nice poise to be able to pour it in.
Long one here from Nunnally, and he's a little short. Subsequent shot off the bank doesn't go either for Julius Gizzi. And the loose ball corralled here by the Cougars. So far, GC has been able to shoot it from deep at will, even with hands in their face.
Yeah, New Pal's trying to extend them, but they're still with screens and just moving without the basketball. They're able to get good shots right at the line.
Just inside the arc, a nice pull-up jumper there from Moles.
They're saying 2 on that?
That is the first shot that he has made inside of the arc. And now a steal for GC, pushing it ahead to Mullins. And taking advantage of the fast break, and Coach Trent Whitaker for New Pal taking a timeout here to stop the momentum.
Yeah, not going to take any chances at all in a game like this. Emotions can get really high, and you can go on huge runs and streaks. You're going to see the steal and the nice pass, giving it up in traffic.
Delayed pass there by Kirchhoff in midair.
And right into your living room. Nicely done by our camera crew.
And now, of course, Braylon Mullins, a 6'4" sophomore, coming off a season high of 20 points against Beech Grove, and that was really a statement win for this GC team in the early going. Beech Grove, the defending state champions in Class 4A or Class 3A from a year ago.
Yeah, and if you know the history between Beech Grove and Greenfield Central, Matt English, the coach at Beech Grove for several years, unfortunately succumbed to brain tumor a few years back. Well, he was a Greenfield Central graduate and a great player here. And once he got the Beech Grove job, he got with the athletic directors at Greenfield, said, hey, we need to do a yearly thing. They have a traveling trophy. And so that's a great game every year, but certainly this year as well.
So out of the timeout, New Pal trying to cut into the deficit here as GC has pushed it out to a 7-point advantage. Largest lead of the ball game for either team. 3 on the way from deep and a long one there from Kendall Hill in the hands of Moles. He pushes it up court. Here's Cookoff with the pull-up jumper, and that doesn't fall. And going for the rebound there was Mullins. He hits the deck, and it's going to be a foul here on New Pal. And that's going to be Blaine Nunnally's second of the night. And you'll see Ben Slagley check back into the ball game. Only a sophomore center, averaging just north of 9.5 points per contest. He has certainly been a changing presence down low here for New Pal. Kirchhoff pulls up from just inside the free throw line. Nothing there. Moses Haynes working it up top. He had 31 points in a showcase with D1 Indiana over the summer in St. Louis. Now coming off the bench is he, Slagley, in a lot of traffic. And they're going to get a wrist here from one of 2 possible
grabbing in there, and again, anytime you swat down at the basketball, a lot of times the officials are you're gonna see it here. Just people just swatting at it right there, reaching. They're gonna call that.
And now another foul here on the quick inbound. And this time it's going to be against New Pal's Moses Haynes. That'll be his first. And that's the 4th here on New Pal. So the foul's starting to rack up here for the Dragons with 5:04 left to go here in the second. And now getting a little bit of stingy defense as well here from Bryant Nunnally.
You know, we already talked about how this is a county rival, a conference rival, a sectional rival. But you know what? Honestly, New Palestine athletically has had a lot of success against Greenfield for the last several years, and that's in every sport. These Greenfield kids want nothing more than to get this win today against New Palestine. And the girls, Greenfield game before this, the girls were able to get that big victory. Coming into the ball game 3 and 4, but came out with a huge win.
Moles with another 3 ball. That's his 3rd of the night. And certainly shots like that will help that cause, Jim Leisure.
Yeah, you know, a couple years ago I was at the sectional game between these 2 ball games in Richmond, and Greenfield shot like 68% from the field. Won that game, you know, not surprisingly, you shoot 68%, you're going to beat the Celtics. But yeah, if this continues, New Pal's in trouble.
Slagley on the backdoor cut, getting his 2nd bucket of the night. He has 4 points. And it's funny you mentioned the shooting percentage. GC this season shooting 53% from the field overall. That is pretty astounding through these first 3 games.
Yeah, it really is. Again, that's 2 things. One, it's getting the ball inside, getting good shots, good close shots like that, layups.
And that's going to be a good one for Will DeJarnett, but they're going to call a traveling violation beforehand, so that will negate the bucket.
And it's also just great perimeter shooting. It's getting open at 3-point line and you know, making them count. You're going to see it here. Let's see if he takes an extra hop or an extra step.
There's 1,
yep,
2,
he came
3.
down,
yep.
yeah, right there, yep.
Just setting his feet, going for that bucket. Good eyes by the officiating crew. New Pal has been playing in the red here over the last several minutes. Slagley underneath gets it to Raudebusch, and he gets the and one. This will be the first time either team has gone to the charity stripe here this evening. As Ian Raudebusch going for an and one opportunity. Another dual sport athlete to watch out here for when it comes to New Palestine. Ian Raudebusch, one of several effective running backs for Coach Kyle Ralph on the football team. And he nails the and one.
Again, he's a guy that, you know, you can't sleep on him because he can score. And if you're focusing too much on Stevens and too much on Nunnally, you know, the Gizzy kid can fill it up. I mean, New Pal's got some weapons.
Here's Moles with Nunnally working on him. Now double team. They know the threat that he poses from deep. Still, he pulls up from just inside the elbow. Just a little short there. Inside of 3 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. Here's Raudebusch in the corner.
Got to be careful, don't get it trapped back down there. New Pal's done that a lot today.
Nunnally tries to get it inside to Slagley, and a steal comes away. Another turnover for the Dragons.
I have them with 4, and I normally will drop 1 or 2, so they may have anywhere from 5 to 6.
Kirkhoff from deep. Can't connect. Stevens pushing the issue.
New Pal definitely trying to get the ball to Ian Stevens, and then Greenfield double teaming Ian, and Ian's able to kick it out to somebody. So again, if Stevens can't score the ball, somebody else on this Dragon team is going to have to step up and finish.
Nunnally tries to get it into Slagley again, and GC has just completely shut down the inside, and Mullins is able to connect on the turnover. Big play by the sophomore.
Just a sloppy pass, and sloppy passes have a tendency to get picked off.
Slagley is able to get it this time, splitting the defenders. Third time's the charm, to say the least. Slagley now has 6 points here for New Pal. Still, in spite of the fact of GC pushing the issue, New Pal has cut it back to a 5-point deficit.
And now Greenfield Central's become a little more patient.
Mullins pulls up from the corner. Almost looked like that got blocked by Stevens. He's off the mark. And there's going to be a subsequent foul here on New Pal on the rebound.
Nice job by D. Jarnett in there. Fouls on 21.
That's going to be Ian Radabush, his first. And that'll be New Pal's 5th. Substitutions here as we'll see Gizzy and Haynes back into the lineup for New Pal. Off the curl inbound. And Mullins will reset the offense.
Again, Greenfield Central will more than happy to take some time off the clock when you got a lead, but they'll take a shot too if they get one.
Mullins loses the handle, has to get rid of it. The New Pal faithful wanting a travel. It was right in front of the official. He let it go. And we play on.
Yeah, a little surprised Coach Meredith didn't get up and get a timeout there. You get like 100 of them. Why not take one there?
Here's Moles from the top of the key. That's the first time he's missed from behind the arc tonight.
Stevens with his 4th rebound. Yeah, a lot of times you'll see a player get in trouble like that on the floor, Kurt, and then the coach will call timeout. It didn't happen there.
They have 4 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, as an ex-football coach, I'm always jealous of the 5 timeouts that basketball coaches get. It's like you got a million of them. Why not use one?
And you have less time in a basketball game, too.
Yeah. We get 3.
20 seconds left to go here, and looks like New Pal's going to let things wind down for the final shot.
Ian Stevens is saying, come on, let's do it. But, again, not a bad idea. If you can get a good open shot, you'll go into halftime down, but hopefully you'll only go down.
And Haynes, no-look pass is stolen by GC. Moles hits the deck, getting rid of it. And the shot is nowhere near the basket to end the first half. Well, it's been a grinded-out battle, to say the least, here in this opening quarter. 24-19, the Cougars of Greenfield Central with a 5-point lead on top of New Pal going to halftime. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. We will be back with the second half here in about 10 minutes or so. Don't go anywhere. You're watching IHSAA basketball here on 9 Star TV.
9 Star is very focused on customer and member care, focused on making sure that however we communicate with the member and customer is how they want to communicate.
Sometimes we're the one person that they speak to in a day, and you want that conversation to be happy and pleasant.
As a nonprofit co-op, we're focused on providing the best service we can for our members.
9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Getting set for the second half here inside of the Juice Box here in Greenfield, Indiana, officially the Dillon Automotive Gymnasium. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling as the New Palestine Dragons trail the Greenfield Central Cougars 24-19. So Jim Leisure, needless to say, it's been a back-and-forth battle here, but GC really able to set the tone and kind of set the pace and get a good run going into that halftime out of that second quarter.
Yeah, again, they did dictate a lot of the pace. They caused about 7 turnovers from New Palestine, which is obviously not what Coach Whitaker wants to see out of his group. I'm sure he's addressed that at halftime, guys. we got to protect the basketball. A good night in high school basketball, you're going to have turnovers, but if you can keep it under 10, maybe 12, you got a shot. But at this pace, New Pal's going to get about 15.
And there was one of those turnovers that led to points as Braylon Mullins, a sophomore sensation here for GC. He has 9 points in that first half. 1 3-pointer and then a couple of buckets as well. But of course, it's really been Dylan Moles who has had a heck of a ball game here. As you see here, he has 11 points here so far tonight.
Well, he's open when he gets to the gym. I mean, we would say when he gets off the bus, but this is a home game for Dylan and his Cougar mate. So you got to get a hand in his face. Really nice job of Greenfield Coach Meredith setting up offensive plays. That was really just bringing the ball up the floor, realizing nobody's guarding you, and putting it up. You're going to see here a turnover. I think this is going to be the Ian Stevens dunk. Nice job again. He just tremendous vertical leap on the young man. He's worked really hard. 2 years ago, he doesn't even dunk that basketball. He probably just lays it in off the glass. Last year, maybe he doesn't get it. Maybe he gets up there, one of those rim rattlers, as you see. That one was a legitimate dunk.
Of course, he's a senior who has really developed here over the last 4 years here for head coach Trent Whitaker. He has 6 points and 4 rebounds, possibly looking to get his 11th double-double of his career. He had his 10th double-double of his career in their game against Richmond to open the regular season. That was a 75-51 win for the Dragons. Both teams here hoping to avoid their first loss of the season, but also both teams looking to set the tone. After all, this is a Hoosier Heritage Conference game, so they really want to set the tone early to try and make a run for a championship later on this season.
Yeah, this game has always been, as long as I can remember, early in the season, and I don't know, sometimes you wish this was later in the year. Moles fires another one.
And he hits. Dylan Moles now with his 4th three-pointer of the ball game. And right out of the gate here in the second half, GC comes out swinging.
And I'm sure Dylan was thinking, look, you got to be kidding me. You're not going to guard me? Well, okay, then let's see if I can, hit this.
Meanwhile, Slagley takes the unselfish route, giving it to Ian Stevens. And he hits the deck, and it's going to be a foul here on the Cougars. And I can more than expect, no, it's actually going to be against Braden Robertson. That'll be his first.
We're going to see it right here. We'll see whether or not there's contact.
Maybe just a little bit as he's fallen to the floor.
And again, inadvertent, obviously, again, from the contact off of Slagley, Robertson loses his balance, does run into Stevens.
And for New Palestine, as we touched on a little bit in the first half, there are 5 members of the Dragons varsity roster who were part of a 12-1 Hoosier Heritage Conference championship winning football team from just this past season. They won a sectional championship.
Mullins with a big block from behind there. That was going to be obviously an easy bucket. Nice rebound there by Slagley, again, just doing his job, being that rebounder defender guy and getting those easy buckets.
Nunnally hits it out to Stevens. And instead of taking the 3, he drives inside, tries a floater from the elbow, and draws another foul. So the fouls are starting to rack up here for GC in the early going.
And they announced that just that is his second foul. I only had him for 1, but if that is in case, in fact, the second foul on Mullins, he's got to be a little bit careful.
And so Stevens at the line for the first time here this evening, making his first one and getting another one as well. He's shooting 75% on the season.
And that's an area where he's really improved as well. Again, 2 years ago he was more of a 60%er.
There's Moles, and he'll draw a foul inside. It'll be on the floor, it appears. And this time it's going to be Bryant Nunnally picking up his first. So a little bit more physical here in this second half. And now a dead ball foul. And again, it's on Bryant Nunnally.
Well, Greenfield was setting up an offensive play, and they really, honestly, they kind of tricked him a little bit, got him not looking as he was running, and a defender just stops and picks up the foul.
So here's an interesting matchup with Mullins and Stevens, 2 players with both pretty much similar builds, and a foul away from the ball, and they're going to get it on Greenfield Central. That'll be Moles picking up his second.
And I believe that's his second offensive, push-off foul as well. Coach Meredith, of course, doesn't like the call, but he's yelling at the wrong guy because that's not the guy that called it. You're going to see it here.
Dylan Moles kind of pleading his case to the referee.
A little bit of acting.
That's kind of how it has been for both of his offensive fouls. And it's a turnover here back to the Dragons. New Pal has not led since midway through the first quarter.
Good pressure defense by Greenfield Central. Again, if New Pal's going to put the ball in that corner, we're going to trap it.
Here's Raudebusch. He can shoot the ball when he wants to. Instead, he leaves it off to Slagley, who lays it in. He now has 8 points. And that cuts it back to the closest that the margin has been here for New Pal since late in the first quarter. Moles, he certainly likes to threaten like he's going to shoot it from deep. He can do it. And now Raudebusch will lay off him. New Pal really extending the defense, but down underneath, wide open, is Will DeJarnette.
His first bucket of the night. He's getting involved.
Raudebusch sends it into the corner. Stevens, he splits the defenders. And just kind of doing some hot potato, and another turnover here for New Pal.
Yeah, that time I think Stevens just trying to be a little too unselfish.
Long three is short again for Robertson. He's 0 for 2 tonight here in that regard. Here's Nunnally. Spin move inside. Blocked there by DeJarnette. What a play. And Stevens found hard. There's going to be a foul coming up on GC, but what a play there by DeJarnette to put that ball out of play there from Nunnally.
Well, you're going to get a great look at it there. Great spin move, splits. And just, I guess, to push the back there.
And so DeJarnette with a big block there. And that is going to be officially Braylon Mullins' second personal foul. So they make the correction there as Stevens goes back to the line for the second time here. He is now 3 for 3 at the charity stripe.
Yeah, probably not the guy that you want to foul, and clearly they didn't, intentionally foul him or anything like that. But he'll hit him.
Ian Stevens trying to instill some life into his team here as it's back to a 4-point deficit for the Dragons. Tyler Kirkhoff with it. Kind of having a quiet night as he only has 2 points, averaging 12 a ball game.
Now Mullins going to take a little bit of a break out here on the wing. He was running around in circles, and Ian Stevens was chasing him.
And Kirkhoff just throws it right into the hands of Stevens, who leaves it off for Nunnally, and they're going to get a blocking foul here on GC. Mullins picking up foul number 3. And that should be team foul number 5 here for the Cougars already here in the second half.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of contact there, but in the attempt to kind of avoid the foul, I think he convinced the referee that there was more contact there than there really was.
So here's Blaine Nunnally at the line for the first time tonight, and he misses his first one. Of course, New Palestine has really kind of had to change up their schedule over the last couple of years. For example, they've added Lawrence North this year to their schedule to kind of beef it up, and they've dropped, that would be a north slot normally taken by Mooresville.
Yeah, this is a ball club, the seniors on this New Pal team. They've been kind of looking forward to this team for 3 years, and knowing what they thought they could be, they certainly wanted to kind of beef up the schedule, as you said.
Kirkhoff off the mark from deep. So both teams have really had to struggle for every basket that they have had tonight. Here's Slagley. And a lot of traffic. Nunnally back inside to Slagley. He puts it on the deck. Somehow gets it back, and he'll be fouled from behind. It looks like it might be Jacob Hinton, the guilty party. No, they're actually going to get Braden Robinson picking up his second.
And we'll see it on the replay here. Ball's loose. Slagley gets the offensive board, and yeah, it is. He ties him up there just on the elbow.
So that's already team foul number 6 here for GC in the second half, as New Pal has now gone 0 for their last 3 at the foul line. But They may be having some more trips here as one more foul from the Cougars, and they're going to be shooting free throws for the duration. And Slagley's able to hit the second one. That's now a 3-point ball game. And Greenfield Central here has gone the last 2 minutes without a bucket.
And Mullins on the bench too. I mean, that's not a good spot to be offensively as he's their second leading scorer.
Kirchhoff gets it back out here to Robertson. He drives inside, gets his first bucket, and they're going to give him the and one. That's actually his second bucket of the night. He now has 4 points, trying to make it 5.
Really nice job there. A little shot fake, gets the defender to kind of get off his feet a little bit, drives around him, goes to the rim and finishes. You're going to see it here. He's going to drive right into your kitchen and kind of draws the foul. The only thing I'd say is, you want to finish with the left hand if you can. Obviously, he finishes with his right hand. It worked.
And Robertson can convert. And trying to box it out hard there was Jacob Hinton. He makes Stevens go upended there, and that'll be a foul there on Hinton. That is his second. And that's now the 7th team foul here on GC. So free throws for the duration here for New Pal.
Well, and again, a little bit of sportsmanship there. You saw Hinton obviously, realize what he could have. I've seen players continue to back up and just upend a player and crash him to the floor, realize what was going on, kind of got out of it a little bit, and then was able to actually even help Stevens up. So good sportsmanship there.
So this is certainly an opportunity now for New Pal as they'll play in the penalty for now. And needless to say here, Jim, they got to make their free throws. As Stevens has now hit 6 straight. He has 12 points. Here's Dylan Moles, step back 3, a little short. So GC has really gone mostly cold here from the field, and Nunnally able to take advantage. New Pal has cut it to a 1-point ball game.
Well, again, it's not all because of the Mullins foul situation, but that's certainly not helping Greenfield Central. It'd be nice to have an extra scorer on the floor.
Right now it has been the Dylan Moles show for GC. Robertson threatens to pull the trigger, thinks better of it.
Came into the ballgame with just 2 3-pointers, has already fired one of them up. Again, it's probably not his best shot, but he can hit them.
Up top to DeJarnett. Moles directing traffic, and I'm sensing a little bit of stalling here from GC.
Certainly patience. What happened was Dylan Moles realized, hey, we're winning. Why are we forcing this right? I'm just going to back it out. Let everybody take a deep breath. Let's set the thing back up. You see the little weave there.
DeJarnett, turnaround jumper, doesn't go, gets tipped out of bounds, and they're going to say that was off a New Pal.
They're going to say it was off Slagley, and again, it very well may have been. Great hustle there by number 10, Jake Hinton, who come in there and just basically forced that.
And now we'll see Braylon Mullins check back into the ball game.
And I like this for a lot of reasons. As we watch the replay here, the hustle by Hinton, we'll see if the ball does, in fact, go. Yep, sure does. Go off Slagley. So, Mullins is going to have to learn to play with 3. This could happen in a sectional game or a regional game, and you don't want it to be the first time he's ever had to do it.
Certainly a learning experience for the young sophomore.
So figure it out. Just go out there and play your game, score, do what you normally do. If you get 4, you get 4.
Moles to Mullins, and it's an offensive foul on Mullins. That is now number 4 on him, and that right there, Jim, is what you refer to.
Yeah, again, you got to be smarter than that, honestly. You got 3. Coach trusts you enough to put you back in, and then basically you try to force that thing there. I'm going to chalk that up to a sophomore mistake.
But also a heck of a play by the New Pal defender there, knowing that Mullins had 3 fouls. That was Haynes.
Yeah, and again, he's a heady kid. And there was enough contact there. I mean, again, and I know Haynes went down like he'd been hit by a truck. I get that. But that's coaching, and that's just basketball, and it's gamesmanship. Again, I'm just going to say Mullins has got to just be a little bit smarter than that in that situation. Put the ball on the floor, dip your shoulder, go around him, draw the foul. But by dipping the shoulder and kind of bouncing into him, you're just asking for trouble.
Haynes pump fakes. Inside to Slagley. Working hard on Robertson outside. 3 ball on the way from Gizzy, and he's short. Moles trying to find a spark here for GC. They've only made 1 basket in the last 5 minutes.
Really thought that Moles was going to fire it up.
Kirkhoff in the corner, nothing there. Robertson tries to go over the back, and it gets tipped out of bounds and back to New Pal. So the Dragons won this game last season. 47-43 was the final score back on December 10th of 2021. As you take a look at the replay here for Robertson. But the man handling the ball right now, Blaine Nunnally for New Pal, he had a heck of a ball game last season against this ball club.
Hey, and most impressively, he had 8 rebounds for the Dragons from his guard position. He tallied 10 points.
So he almost had a double-double as a guard, which is not something you see very often. Stevens on the thread-the-needle pass from Nunnally.
Nice no-look assist there. Again, he's just such a heady player, and Moles is going to say, you know, I'll take another one.
And it does not happen, as New Pal has taken their first lead since the first quarter, and Nunnally will add insult to injury there with that layup, and it has been a heck of a run here for New Palestine.
Coach Meredith is just saying, you know what, we're okay. We're going to come up here. We're going to play our half-court offense. We're not going to take a timeout. 25 seconds left in the quarter.
Moles working on Stevens, and he'll draw a foul. And that'll be Stevens' first foul of the ball game, according to my stat sheet.
That's what I got as well. His first team fourth, so not a tremendous amount of contact there. Credit Dylan Moles for just creating that foul.
And now a foul from behind going to be called on Nunnally. That'll be his third. Off of the inbound here as they tried to get it to Kirkhoff. And so Greenfield Central certainly behind the 8 ball on the foul stat sheet here, so they're trying to get New Pal back up here on that one as Hinton again gets fouled from behind. This time he'll go to the line for 2, and it looks like it might be Gizzy who just slapped him on the back there, and indeed that is the case. That'll be his second. So 3 quick fouls here for New Pal, and Jacob Hinton with some, quite honestly, Jim, here's some big free throws.
Yeah, 2 or 3 on this very, very young season, so he can hit them.
And he hits the first one.
His first point of the night, so Hinton gets in on the scoreboard at least, well, the scoring side. He's got some boards.
We'll also see Dallas Freeman into the lineup here for GC for the first time tonight, a 6'4 sophomore. And Hinton with 2 big free throws there gives the Cougars a 1-point deficit with time winding down in the third.
New Pal more than happy with a slim lead to be patient here.
Haynes, and the ball was tipped, somehow gets into Stevens. And there's Jacob Hinton chirping at Stevens while he's on the ground there.
Well, right now
New Pal wanted a foul.
Yeah, give Hinton credit for a block here because there was no call. We'll see. He kind of hit him right in the face.
Yeah, I'd say that looks like a pretty clear-cut foul to me, Jim.
I don't know all the rules, but I believe that's a penalty. Yeah, and again, that's just one of those deals. That's why referees almost always blow the whistle. When you slap down like that, it's almost always a foul because the threat for contact is really, really there.
And a turnover on the inbound. The full court shot nearly goes in there from Kirkhoff. But nevertheless, it was a quarter to forget for GC. They have a 1-point deficit to New Pal. Going to the fourth quarter here on 9 Star TV.
When moving into a new home, we ask ourselves questions like, who is the best internet provider in town? Well, have you considered locally owned 9 Star Connect? We've become the fastest, most reliable, and dedicated fiber-to-the-home internet company in central Indiana. Our internet packages have been modified, and we are changing speeds at a more competitive price. So give us a look. Visit us at 9starconnect.com. 9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Getting set for the fourth quarter here as Edwin Diaz's trumpet entrance playing here for the fourth quarter on 9 Star TV. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. Jim, a pretty good third quarter there for New Pal. They were down by 5 at the half. They're now up by 1.
Yeah, I mean, if you're New Pal, that's exactly what you wanted to do coming out of the half. You wanted to just fight back. You tell your kids, we got to be, back into it by the end of the third quarter. Not only are they in it, but they're up by 1. And again, this should be a fantastic 8 minutes. Fouls will be a factor as, GC, I think, is already in the bonus, and our New Palestine is almost double bonus for Greenfield Central with 8 fouls. And the next foul on the Dragons will create a 1-and-1. So we'll see what happens.
New Palestine outscoring GC 15-9 in that third quarter after New Pal had been outscored 12-9 in the second and then 12-10 in the first. So meantime, GC definitely going to have to button things down here. We'll see Braylon Mullins back into the ball game. He is playing with 4 fouls for the Cougars.
Really interesting to see how the two coaches approach this thing.
3 ball from Nunnally is short. And the Cougars, again, trying to reclaim the lead. They've been in the lead for the majority of this contest.
Years ago, Coach Bob Knight used to always talk about good shots. I mean, was he open? Is that a good shot? Probably not. Probably not the shot you want. He was open, but not all shots are good shots.
New Pal extending out here a little bit. Dylan Moles only had 1 3-pointer and 1 bucket that entire third quarter. So Coach Trent Whitaker of New Pal definitely telling his team to hone in on the sharpshooter from deep. Here's DeJarnett. Gives it back over to Moles. He pulls up from the elbow and is short again.
Stevens with his 6th rebound.
Stevens off to Gizzy.
New Pal, of course, can afford to be patient. They're winning, albeit by 1, but winning nonetheless.
Gizzy unloads from deep and hits the big man. Able to get it down low.
Big shot by the young man there. Again, I don't know that he's done what Coach Whitaker is wanting to do yet this season. He was expected to be a little bit more of a scorer than he has been. That was a huge bucket there.
He's a stocky 6'3" sophomore. Speaking of sophomores, there's Mullins with a nifty move inside. He's too strong, and a foul on the rebound going to go here against New Pal, it appears. And they're going to get Slagley, his first. That's actually his second, and that will put GC here in the bonus. So both teams now equal for the time being. They'll be shooting free throws.
Yeah, I thought it could have been on either one of them.
And DeJarnett is unable to earn another one.
Yeah, I mean, and again, he was 67% coming in, albeit only 2 of 3. So this is still a very young season. Obviously, this is just the 4th game. These shooting percentages will obviously change as the season wears on.
So Bryant Nunnally and Gizzy kind of playing some pitch and catch in the forecourt. As you mentioned, Jim, they can afford to waste time out front.
Yeah, the big 3-pointer there by Gizzy is now stretched to the 4. And again, Greenfield Central at some point is going to have to step out and force this.
Little bit of Milan Indian stall ball here by New Pal.
Now, you got to risk, you got to be careful, too, that you don't stall your offense.
Slagley gets it back out to Bryant Nunnally and gets it to his brother Blaine. They've taken a minute off the clock here with this possession. Bryant Nunnally is true from deep. Back-to-back 3-pointers here for the New Pal offense.
That is an excellent offensive strategy, honestly. If you can take a minute off and hit a bucket, whether a 2 or a 3, you're going to win the game because you're just taking time off the clock and converting.
Sense of urgency now here for GC as Mullins working on Stevens, and he just throws up a shot. Stevens may have gotten a finger on that shot, and it's another turnover. Blaine Nunnally from deep again, and he hits. Timeout, Greenfield Central. It's a 9-0 run to start the 4th quarter here for New Pal.
Must be a full timeout as Coach Meredith is discussing with the officials, but yes, it is a full.
That's only the second timeout that GC has taken here tonight, and needless to say here, Jim, the Cougars are flat, and they need something to get them back into this contest.
Well, this is why you call the timeout here. This is a huge possession. If you've designed one, you've worked on a play, you work on it all the time in practice, this is when you want it. You got to convert this possession. Now, if you don't, the game's not over, but gosh, you're down 10. You really need a bucket here. So great timeout by Coach Meredith here. We see our next ball game.
Indeed, as 9-Star TV will have coverage December 16th of Newcastle's game against New Palestine back in New Palestine. Brendan King and Jim Leisure will be on the call. Catch all the action live right here on 9-Star TV.
I have no idea. Well, I know where John Painter got that picture of me there. That was...
he is a resourceful person,
He's a
John
very
Painter.
resourceful person. I have other talents other than just, doing color commentary. And
could be like me. The picture that he uses for me on the graphic is about 4 years old. So,
well, there's no sense in hiding my age. Everyone knows I'm well over 100. But I could actually pick some horses every now and then, and that John got that from my horse racing picking prowess there.
You mean the square root of 100? Back to the action here inside of Dellin Automotive Gymnasium. Greenfield Central in need of a bucket and a lot more as Kirchhoff going to draw the foul here on New Pal. And needless to say here, Jim, if you're going to try and force points, why not get them from the foul stripe?
Yeah, while the clock's not moving.
So that'll be Blaine Nunnally's fourth foul. So you have Mullins with 4 and Nunnally with 4 for both teams.
Kirchhoff does a nice job of really creating that contact and converting the free throw as well. I'm already getting texts wanting to know why a Cub fan is wearing a Mets hat. It's too long of a story to tell.
Kirchhoff 1 of 2. Meanwhile, we have a foul going for the rebound. It appears it's going to be against GC. That'll be Jacob Hinton picking up his third.
And Slagley with his 6th rebound of the ball game. Again, that's kind of what, as they say, that's what he gets paid to do. Now, what does he get paid? Nothing.
Where do you have Stevens on rebounding right now?
I got him with 7.
So he is 3 shy of another double-double. Again, already has 10 career double-doubles to his credit. 9 of them last season, 1 so far this year.
And remember, I did attend a small grade school, Our Lady of We Don't Count So Good. So I may be wrong.
And that's another foul there on Jake Hinton. That is now his 4th. So if you're Coach Luke Meredith, you're certainly not happy with the situation that you're kind of in right now foul-wise. You have 2 players in foul trouble, Braylon Mullins and Jacob Hinton.
Not a lot you could do about it. You got to keep them in the ball game down 9 with about 4 minutes to play. If they foul out, they foul out. You got guys over there wearing uniforms, so.
Nunnally harassed up court and is able to get it across the timeline.
So Greenfield obviously not dialing down the defensive pressure any. They're definitely pressuring the ball.
Nunnally pushing the issue, fires up a prayer, and Mullins comes away with the rebound.
Opportunity for a transition bucket here.
Kirchhoff. And he'll direct some traffic here to set up a play. 3.5 minutes left to go here for the Cougars. Instead, Kirchhoff will just throw it up from deep, and he's short. The faucet has turned off completely for Greenfield Central, and a full timeout going to be taken here by New Pal.
Well, this is Coach Whitaker now just reminding his kids, hey, we got a 9-point lead. Let's use some clock. We're not going to slow it down necessarily, but we'd like to, again, if we can take a minute or 90 seconds off before we get a bucket, that'd be really nice.
Of course, the Greenfield Central girls were successful in a doubleheader tonight over the New Pal girls. For the first time in 7 years, believe it or not. 9 meetings in those 7 years, Jim. GC had come up short to the New Pal girls. They finally get a win over them here tonight.
Well, again, as a coach years ago, we told our kids when you get tired of losing, when you just get tired of getting beat by these people, you'll change. You'll change your work ethic. You'll change your practice habits. when you just get tired of losing. Well, apparently the Greenfield Central girls just got tired of losing because they were actually a 7-point dog, if you believe, John Harrell and some of the other pregame
prognosticators.
Yeah.
So now it's a matter of whether or not the Greenfield Central boys are just as tired of losing to New Pal. New Pal leads this series 28-23. This is the 58th meeting between these two ball clubs.
For years these two teams played. New Palsy was very much a rural country school of the 1A, 2A variety. Greenfield Central was the big bad county seat.
As another foul going to be called, and it looks like it's going to be against Mullins.
If so, he's
and
gone.
Indeed it is. He is done for the night.
So, they didn't play for a long time, and then in the 90s they got into the Hoosier Heritage Conference, and just a little bit of a reach there, and again, I think Braylon knew it.
So he finishes with 9 points tonight, does Braylon Mullins, all of them in the first half. And this will put Slagley at the line once again. And he misses the front end. 2 free throws apiece now for New Pal from here on out, as they work in the double bonus for the last 2 minutes and 52 seconds.
That's the third free throw that Slagley has missed, and again, if he really wants to complete his game, he's got to get a little better from the line.
And another one. So that's 4 in a row coming up short there for Slagley. GC still down by 9. The most that either team has led by so far in this contest is 10. Kirchhoff again is short. And saving the ball from going out of bounds there is Bryant Nunnally. Pushing it up court, here's Gizzy.
Very wise, did not need a shot there.
Again, New Pal can afford to let the clock run here and force GC to play defense. Here's Stevens working inside. No foul on the play, and it goes out of bounds.
Well, again, that's either going to be a foul or a block. I don't know why the Greenfield player is arguing, because if he didn't foul him, then it was a clean block.
That's Jacob Hinton. He's certainly had a lot to say to the officials tonight. And that was Will DeJarnett, the guilty party, putting it out of bounds. So the long inbound going to be taken here by Haynes. 2 minutes left to go here in this ball game. Haynes wisely kicks it back out. 3 on the way from Gizzy. And that rattles in and out. A big offensive rebound from Bryant Nunnally.
And very wisely kicks it out. Again, you don't really need buckets here. You need time to go off the clock.
And Nunnally's going to be fouled there in the forecourt before he goes on the dribble drive. And that'll be Kirchhoff's second. And this will put Blaine Nunnally back at the charity stripe. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
He did come into the ballgame shooting 69%, 9 of 13. At this point in the ballgame, though, and you're starting to see it on the jumpers from the floor, the legs are starting to go a little bit curt. Shots are being left short.
And Nunnally is able to knock in the first one. And again, as you mentioned, Jim, this may not be the first time, and this may not be the only time that these two teams face each other, of course. They could be facing each other right back here come tournament time as they both play in sectional number 9 right here at Greenfield.
Yeah, they eliminated the Hancock County tournament a couple of years back because the coaches were saying, hey, we're seeing each other 3 times a year. Let's eliminate one of them. Obviously, you can't eliminate the conference game. You can't eliminate the sectional. So the county tourney had to go.
Moles from deep, and he again has been dry most of this second half. He only has 1 bucket from behind the arc. That was the very first bucket of this second half, and he has not scored since.
Yeah, definitely what started off well for Greenfield Central with their dead-eye shooting, especially from the arc, has kind of gone away.
Hinton kicks it back outside to Robertson. Again, he is 0 for 3 from behind the arc now. And the loose ball is going to be corralled by Bryant Nunnally. It's a jump ball, and the possession arrow favoring Greenfield Central.
Good hustle there, and good job by the officials. The ball maybe wasn't even really tied up there, but before you get somebody hurt, you got 4 bodies on the floor. You got the opportunity for ankles to get turned. Go ahead and just blow it dead and play the alternating possession. That's the safest thing to do.
Jim, right now, New Pal is outscoring GC in this 4th and final quarter 11-1. GC has not had a field goal at all in this fourth quarter.
Obviously, if you're Coach Meredith, that's something you got to talk to your kids.
That streak is finally broken right there by Moles. That's his second three-pointer of the second half, and another timeout going to be taken by Coach Meredith of Greenfield Central. Looks like it's a full timeout here taken by the Cougars. So Greenfield.
I was going to say everything is a learning opportunity, and what you just said there, I'm sure Coach is going to see Moles, like you said, ends that field goal drought. You got to talk to your kids about poise and knowing the situations, taking good shots. I would bet that part of the reason why they don't have a bucket other than the one that Moles just hit there is probably poor shot selection.
So New Palestine had been down by as many as 10 points early on in the second quarter. They now lead. They have now led by as many as 11. They now lead by 8 points. Greenfield Central going to be going on the road tomorrow night to Speedway. That tip off another evening game at 7:30. Also, New Palestine, they'll have it tomorrow night off before they again take on Newcastle. You can catch that game right here on 9 Star TV. That'll be a home game for New Pal. So how do you like that for GC? Giving up a lead here in this one and then having to go right back at it against Speedway the next night.
Well, that is what Indiana high school basketball has been about for basically decades, if not centuries. And it's a Friday, Saturday game. You see quite a few more Tuesday, Thursday games nowadays than you used to. But it's mainly a Friday, Saturday situation.
So Nunnally bringing it up court. And he's weaving around like a Harlem Globetrotter. And he gets the shot to fall and get the and one.
Now they're going to say it's on the floor, I'm afraid. Yep. He waved off the bucket.
It almost looked like they were indicating as if it was an and one. So either way, he's going to the line to shoot free throws, except it'll be 2 free throws instead of just 1 in the bucket.
I mean, again, that was awfully, awfully close. That could have gone either way. Coach Whitaker wants an explanation. The official who called it clearly indicated. I could see where you thought he was saying the bucket's good, but no, he was pointing to the floor, saying the foul was on the floor.
So Blaine Nunnally, 13 points tonight. And now making it 14, as he's now 3 of 5 at the foul stripe. Again, Nunnally's season high this season, 23 points in their second game of the year against Eastern Hancock. And Nunnally misses the second one. Back to a 10-point deficit here for GC, and needless to say, it's starting to slip away here from the Cougars. Euro step inside by Moles, and it gets tipped out of play. They're going to be calling a foul here. He'll go to the line for 2.
We'll see who they get here. Ian Stevens on the slap.
That's only his second foul.
That's some good senior basketball player there, though, does not get in foul trouble.
And Moles able to convert for the first time tonight at the charity stripe. He has now 18 points, but again, a majority of those coming in the first half. Now make it 19 points. Where do we have Ian Stevens on the rebound chart? As Stevens turns the ball over.
I think they're going to call basically a carry there. I still got him at 7.
So unless he's able to come up with 3 rebounds here in the final 58 seconds, he will not come away with another double-double, but still has had an excellent night of 14 points.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't care at all about double-doubles. He cares about wins. He picks up another foul, though.
And that'll be his 3rd. Putting Moles back at the charity stripe.
See if we get a look at this thing again. Yeah, great job from our camera crew here, but watch how he swats down. All right, and honestly, you could have called it on Roudabush too.
Here's Moles, and he misses. And he'll put it back in there. Cutting it back to a 6-point deficit here, but back the other way. Nunnally going right down the lane and drawing the and one this time.
So what does Nunley have then? Let's see. I had him at 6 at halftime, 9, 12, 14. This is potentially his 15th.
So Nunnally having an excellent ball game here tonight for New Pal as he gets the end one as well. And a timeout taken by New Pal. That'll be another full timeout. That'll be their last full timeout here of the ball game. So 47 seconds left to go here. And Jim, needless to say, you know, it's been kind of a quiet effort here, but Blaine Nunnally has been integral to this run here for New Pal.
You know, Blaine Nunnally is just a very important part, like we said, of all 3 ball clubs that he plays for at New Pal. The one thing Blaine does sometimes, and I've seen him play a lot the last 3 years, is sometimes he can be a little out of control, and he can create turnovers. Tonight he's been out of control, but he's converting. So, you know, when you get the good Blaine Nunnally, things are good. And then sometimes there's some nights when Coach Whitaker, I'm sure, wants him to kind of dial it back a little bit because we're creating turnovers. He needs to be smart enough to realize when things are going well, keep pushing. That's the good Blaine. When things aren't, you know what, slow it down a little bit, get your teammates a little more involved. He can do it. He can do whatever he wants to do, frankly. But a nice job by him. I have Stevens with 14 or 16. I'm sorry.
I have him with 14.
It's 14.
Yep. 14 points.
Can't read my own writing. The 4 looks like a 6.
Having too much fun tonight.
You know, and this ball game's not over. I've seen crazier things. 9 points in 47 seconds. Greenfield Central obviously needs some big buckets, and they need them quick.
Here comes Dylan Moles. And he just coughs it up. And Nunnally off of an alley-oop there to Stevens. Now he has 16 points. And that's just icing on the cake there for New Pal. As Hinton goes on the backdoor cut. He gets the end one, and he'll go to the line. That's his first field goal of the night, Hinton. And that'll be Raudebusch's 3rd foul here for New Pal. Team's 10th. Not like that really matters here at this point. But that last possession there, that last turnover by Moles, was another big nail in the coffin here for the Cougars. They needed something on that last possession.
Yeah, and unfortunately what they got was a dunk on the other end. So, and of course Greenfield fouls immediately. It's the only shot you got. I mean, you might as well take it. Robertson picks up the foul quickly, does not let a lot of time come off the clock. And now it's up to Stevens to come down and hit the free throws. If he doesn't, you got a slight chance. It's not a good chance, but you got a chance if he does not hit these.
So that's Robertson's 3rd foul here for GC. And now Stevens back at the line. He has been good in that regard. He is 6 for 6 and now 6 for 7 as he has his first miss here of the afternoon. Again, shooting 75% at the line, which is pretty good, all things considered. But he puts home the second one.
New Pal shoots about 70% from the free throw line coming into the ball game.
Moles goes right down the lane. New Pal content to let him go. And a timeout here taken by GC. This will be their final timeout, and it is a 30-second timeout. So that's all they have time here to get some last-minute advice here from Coach Meredith.
Thought we were going to get a look at that bucket there as you saw the New Pal defenders just kind of parted ways and let him have it, but it's really nice body control, nice finish at the rim. You're going to see it right here. New Pal's like, yeah, go right ahead. Kind of spins it around, gets underneath the left side.
And you can afford to let that one go as long as more time comes off the clock.
Yeah, you can give up the 2. You don't want to give up the foul in the 3.
So Dylan Moles now has 22 points for GC. That is about 4 points shy of his season average through 3 games. So a pretty much business as usual night for him, but the scoring has not really been there from the rest of his team. Only 3 field goals made by players not named Dylan Moles in this second half here for GC.
Well, it doesn't help with the Mullins kid fouling out. I mean, he's obviously their second leading scorer, and New Pal's just more than happy to take off about 20 seconds here.
And Raudebusch will go back to the line again here for New Pal here. He's already been at the line once tonight. That was on an and one. He made that shot. And so New Palestine With everything holding here, we'll move to 4-0 on the year. That'll be their best start to a season since the 2017 year when they started 4-0. And Radebush goes 1 for 2. So GC can try and get something else here, but too little too late as Hinton adds another one. And that will do it. Final score here at the Juice Box. New Pal comes on the road and knocks off Greenfield Central 53-46. Well, Jim Leisure, it's come to that time where we award our Smoke and Barrel Hot Player of the Game. Tonight's Smoke and Barrel Barbecue Player of the Game is going to be Blaine Nunnally. He had 17 points tonight, leading all scorers for New Palestine, integral in that big comeback in the second half for the Dragons.
Yeah, he's the quarterback. He's the guy that everything runs through. The offense runs through it. Honestly, the defense runs through him too. And, again, Ian Stevens had a really nice night. But, I agree with you. I think Blaine Nunnally deserves the award.
Nunnally, the Smoke and Barrel Smoking Hot Player of the Game. Tomorrow, the good folks at Smoke and Barrel Barbecue are open from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Whatever your plans are for Saturday, they'll be better with some great eats from Smoke and Barrel Barbecue, 2316 South German Church Road, and online at smokin-barrel-bbq.com. Jim, final thoughts on this ball game here tonight?
Very good basketball game, high school basketball, great atmosphere. Gym almost packed, 2 county teams. This means nothing now. You move forward in the conference. Obviously, New Pal has a good win. They'll take it. Greenfield's now looking for a little revenge in the conference. You got to get back in it, hope for a little help. They're probably more thinking about the sectional.
New Pal now moving to 1-0 in conference play here in the IHSAA. Well, that'll do it for us here from Greenfield Central. Alongside Jim Leisure, I'm Kurt Darling. Special thanks to our 9-Star TV crew here tonight. Final score once again, 53-46. New Palestine knocking off Greenfield Central. You've been watching Hoosier Heritage Conference Basketball here on 9-Star TV. So long, everybody.